guess what? They don't chew their food enough.
Wow.
Dr. Oz had on his program the other day, chew, 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 chew. And you know what? You don't get as obese. You enjoy your food more when you chew thoroughly, and you don't overeat.
So chew slowly.
Eat slowly, sit up straight. Sit up straight, because you know it has to go down. You're all hunched over. Listen, I'm 5 feet tall, 95 pounds. And I sit tall, walk tall, and I am tall.
Wow, Patricia, thank you so much. We're running out of time. Is there anything you'd like to tell our audience?
Well, I would say God bless each one of you. I want you to be your own health captain and be healthy and happy for a fulfilled life. God bless you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you, Patricia.
Did you know that Kailua was formerly known as Barber's Point, which was named after Captain Henry Barber, who ran his ship aground at that area back in 1796? Well, now you do.
Wishing from my windward to the leeward side.
It was about the Pueo Owl. Ironically, the UH West Oil campus, its mascot is the Pueo. I came here in 1997, and that owl's been talking to me ever since. Maybe that's why I'm a little hooty, huh? But I see it about every night. What do? It's the owl's last stand. It's the last place it goes. If we tell the developer that nest won't be there tomorrow, the DLNR hasn't tagged one Pueo. It doesn't have 1 inch of territory on this island. Not 1 inch. The Pueo has no voice. Nobody's listening. It's getting creamed by the cars. I watch it fly underneath that rail guideway in between the power lines. And, you know, there's things I want to say here, but on my camera, I tell you personally, because you probably lock me up. But if nobody's going to listen to the Pueo, I know someone else is going to talk with much better grace than I and give you a better understanding that if this is our white rhino, this is our cheetah, this is everything that everyone's talking about the rest of the world. How can we save these beautiful beasts and creatures? And it's right in front of your face, right here. You don't need to save the elephant and the tusks and the ivory. It's right here. And if that bird doesn't get that grassland protected, it has nowhere else on the Everplain. I don't call the blast zone a habitat. I don't call it golf course a habitat. That's one patch, and it could be Ho'opili's Central Park.
Pueo, use the grass there to make the babies and lay the eggs. Nobody knows about the owl.
You could put the high rises and the TOD and look down on a habitat, and everybody from around the world will say, there's the Pueo. You have an opportunity to save this creature. Do it right, because if you don't, I don't know how you can put your head on the pillow at night. Mahalo.
Is the beginning of wisdom. I have seen you laugh, and I have seen you cry. And you do not. We are taught discipline. The purpose of discipline is to live more fully, not less. But how shall I know if my sorrow is only the echo of self-pity? Or my laughter, the preening of my own happiness. The bird sings in the forest. Does it seek to be admired for its song? Let tears come when your heart tells you of its sadness. Let joy come unasked, unplanned. It is written, shape clay into a vessel. It is the space within that gives it value. Place doors and windows in a house. It is the opening that brings light within. Set spokes within a wheel. It is the emptiness of the hub that makes them useful. Therefore, be the space at the center. Be nothing, and you will have everything to give to others. Your feet tread heavily on the ground. Have you a burden, grasshopper?
It is my thoughts that carry the weight, master. I have been in the marketplace. All the men there argue and fight. There is no peace.
Why does that trouble you when your home is here?
I would want all men to know peace.
It is written in the Tao Te Ching. Under heaven, all can see beauty as beauty only because there is ugliness. All can know good as good only because there is evil. Therefore, having and not having arise together. Difficult and easy complement each other. High and low rest upon each other. Front and back follow one another.
But, Master, do we not want all men to know our peace, our joy?
Would you make the whole world a temple? Be like the sun, and what is within you will warm the earth.
Some days I'm so confused, Lord. My past gets in my way. I need the ones I love, Lord, more and more each day. One thing I know, the world's been good to me, a better place awaits, you'll see. A better place.
Don't kill them!
What is it, Grasshopper?
Master Poe, I have been troubled.
I have sensed that in you these past days. While your body has been healing, your spirit has sickened.
It is because I have done nothing about the murder of my parents.
And what do you propose to do?
Find General Chung. Kill him.
You, a boy, not yet a man, against the ruthless warlord and his soldiers?
If I could find him alone, it could be done.
And being done, what do you derive?
Satisfaction.
Hi, I'm Margaret Reed McDonald, and I wrote this book called Earth Care, World Folk Tales to Talk About. 35 stories from peoples all around the world on caring for our planet. I'm going to tell you one from Brazil called the Curupira. In Brazil, they have a creature called the Curupira, and he is the father of the animals, the keeper of the forest. He's very small, about the size of a 5th grade boy. And he has hair all over his body. He has pointy ears. He can hear anything that happens in the forest. And he rides a wild boar. If he hears someone chopping a tree or shooting at a wild animal, he gets on his wild boar and he rides and chases them off. And if he catches them, he puts his little arms around them. He's not very tall, but he's very strong. And he begins to squeeze. And he squeezes and he squeezes and he squeezes till their bones turn to jelly. Then he cuts a little hole in the skull and sucks all the good out. Then he blows up the skin, ties it up, and hangs it in the tree for someone to find later. So no one really wants to meet the Curupira. Well, there was a man named Carlos, and he was not a good hunter. He'd go in the forest, he'd get his gun ready. A deer, bam, he would miss. A peccary pig, bam, 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 he would miss. He never brought home game. And then he remembered the Curupira, and he'd heard that if you get on the good side of the Curupira, he will let you take enough game to feed your family, not more, but that much. And he knew the Curupira liked sweet things, and that he smoked a little chunky pipe. So Carlos took some honey and some tobacco into the forest, put it on a log by a clearing, and he went away, and he waited about an hour, and he went back, and it was gone. Okay. The Curupira took my gift. Maybe he'll let me get some game today. He got his gun ready, and he went into the forest, and a deer, bam, first shot. Yes, the Curupira is on my side now. He had meat for a long time, and when that was gone, he went into the forest again with more honey, more tobacco, left it for a gift, went away, came back. It was gone. Got his gun ready. A peccary pig, bam, first shot. Okay. After that, for a whole year, he never missed once when he aimed at an animal. After a year, he thought, maybe I wouldn't have to leave 2 gifts for the Curupira. I'll take the honey and nothing else. He still had good luck. Another year passed. 2 years. He'd never once missed a shot. He said to himself, I don't think I need that Curupira anymore. I'm a good shot. I never miss. Huh. He didn't bring any gift at all, but still he had good luck. Then he heard a man was coming down the river who was buying the skins of wild animals and the feathers of beautifully colored birds and paying a lot of money. I can make a lot of money. I'm a good shot. He went into the forest. He began to kill everything he saw. Bam, 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 bam. 6 deer, just like that. Bam, 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 bam. 6 peccary pigs. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. 18 beautifully colored birds. Bam. He even killed a jaguar. Yes. He drug all the animals into a clearing. He was going to skin them, take the feathers, take the skins, and pack them out and get rich. He had just taken his knife out to cut the first deer when he heard a rustling in the bushes. And out of the bushes came a chicken. The chicken didn't have any feathers on it. It was a totally naked chicken. The chicken looked at him and shook its head crossly. And from the forest, a voice boomed out. Esteban, did you find my animals? Yeah, boss. They're all here, Curupira. What'll I do with them? And the voice said, bring them to me, that's what. And the little chicken began to march down the row of dead animals and peck on them. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, dear, get up. Curupira wants you. And the deer came back to life. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, peccary pigs, Curupira wants you. And the pigs snorted and came back to life. Peck, 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 peck. Come on, birds, peck, peck, come on. And the birds ruffled their feathers and came back to life. Peck, peck, peck. Come on, jaguar. Curupira wants you. and the jaguar came back to life. The little chicken lined them all up in a straight line and began to march into the forest. But before he left, he turned and looked back at Carlos the hunter. "Hey, boss, what about the man? What'll I do with him?" And the voice called, "Leave him for now. We'll come get him a little later." And they all disappeared into the forest. Carlos dropped his knife. He dropped his gun. He left behind the knife. He left behind the gun. He left that forest. He left that territory. He never came back. But he left behind the story to warn everyone what happens if you take too much game and anger the Curupira. A true story from the Amazon.
I'm Chef Magda, and today we're going to do some fun things in the kitchen. And I have cooked for rock stars to royalty, but personally my favorite is cooking for and with kids. They're so much of a delight, they're always inspired, and it's a whole new world for them. So today we're going to do some fun, kicky treats, and we're going to do with my friend Debbie. Debbie and I go way back. Hey, Deb. Debbie and I are on the board of directors of the Gandhi International Peace Institute. So we've been working together for a while. You've come to a few of my dinners. And so today we're going to make some fun things. Now, Debbie has, although she looks young, too young, she has grandchildren. And you do a lot of things with the kids, don't you? You spend a lot of time. Yeah. So you like to do
cooking and projects and art things.
Oh, fun. So today, one of the things we're going to do that's really fun, and if you do it with the kids, it has to be supervised. We're going to make fruit skewers. So the ends of these can be a little pokey. So you want to supervise, especially with the younger children. So I'm going to have you make these today. And these are your fruits you can use to make your skewers. And we'll put them right on here. Now, the nice thing about doing the fruit skewers is that it's a way to introduce lots of different fruits for the children. A lot of times kids have a limited repertoire of apples and bananas, but this way you can introduce different fruits. Today we have strawberry and we have pineapple. Of course, we take advantage of our tropical fruits here in Hawaii. We have kiwi. And I also have some nice grapes. I have some mango and lychee. You can add cantaloupe. It's just a fun way to introduce different flavors. And the nice thing about the skewers is that you can make them up ahead, put them in the refrigerator, and the kids can grab them for after school. And they're actually lovely as a centerpiece, or nice even a dessert if you want a healthy dessert. So, aren't they fun?
Yeah, it's fun and easy.
I usually start with some of the larger fruit and work my way down, and then it just seems to hold on the skewer better. So we're gonna just put these right here. And I always start with a flower. You can start with a leaf. It just gives that little extra panache, and it brightens everything up. I want to thank you. I want to thank Debbie today for helping out in the kitchen. So these are fun treats. They're delicious. Kids will love them. They're great for entertaining. They're great for parties or just to grab on the go. So we want to thank you for joining us here, and aloha.
morning, everyone, and welcome to the 22nd Annual 2015 Children's and Youth Summit. I will be the MC for today's event. My name is Brennan Lee, and I am a senior at Mililani High School and also the Board of Education student representative. This Youth Summit, thank you. This Youth Summit provides an amazing opportunity to improve the lives of Hawaii's children and is an intellectual hub for professionals, policymakers, and our very own youth to come together and voice their concerns. By participating today, we all take the initiative to improve our future. And on behalf of all who helped make this event possible, we thank you. Before we proceed, I'd like to go over the auditorium's general rules. Please, food and drinks are not allowed in the Capitol Auditorium. Also, please silence your phones if you have not done so already. If you must answer a call, please do so outside the auditorium. And finally, restrooms are located outside the auditorium in the Eva corner. To start the summit, please welcome Uncle Joel Tassel for some opening remarks.
Before I get started, I gotta apologize. I'm a teary guy. I tear a lot. So if you see it running down my eyes, it's coming from my heart. Aloha kako. Aloha kakahiaka kako kako. The gift of life. Let this day, today, October the 9th, 2015, be the first day of the rest of our lives. Let us think of the many purposes that has brought us here for both all the good and bad reasons. Let's first take all the bad reasons and not throw them away, but let's bring them along with us as we journey through life so that they become things that we remember not to do again. And then let's take the good things, and bring them with us as we journey through life and make them better. How do we do that? Well, that's a gift that we give ourselves as we journey through life. Let me share a little poem with you. It's called Good, Better, Best. And it goes like this. Good.
Where do I start? My kind of view on it is, if you're going out of your way to avoid people, you want to stay in bed all day because why not? You don't want to see the rest of the world. If this goes on for months and you feel sad for yourself because you don't know why, this isn't a phase. There are hormone imbalances, there are learning disorders, there is everything you can think of, and people might tell you it's just a phase, it doesn't matter. It's going on for months, it's not a phase. There are ways to get help, and you need to look at those ways because I'm proof that they work. Coming from cutting and wanting to kill myself to here, speaking now about how it does get better. Things are going to get better. You are going to be okay. I have had many people just in school alone stressed out about how they need to get straight A's, they need to do this, they need to be in every single sport and activity. You don't need to be perfect all the time. Just be you and do what you love. And speak out, speak for yourself. And that's it.
Thank you, Sarah, for starting us off with a very powerful message. And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to what you're sharing. So thank you for being brave and coming out here and sharing what your thoughts are. Thank you. And Sarah will be here all day, right? So you can ask her questions about some of the sources that she has, and afterwards we can ask more questions. Brennan?
Hi, everyone. I'm Brennan Lee. Hi. So, I'm the BOE rep, but underneath it all, I'm a student. And yeah, I know the stresses of being a teenager. There's a pressure to dress a certain way, to act a certain way. And at times, it can be overwhelming. And a lot of teens my age can crumble under that pressure. But over the years, I've developed a skill that kind of helped me overcome this. And that skill is called mindfulness. Simply putting it, mindfulness is being aware of your thoughts, your physical sensations, and your surroundings. However, the concept of mindfulness will go as deep as it'll make you think. Simply putting it, mindfulness is being aware of being aware. It's freedom for contemplation. Mindfulness enables you to ponder deeply and look inwards, analyzing the natural flow of your consciousness. In my opinion, every school should foster mindfulness because it has the power to make us teens think. Our brain is not fully developed yet. This part right here is called the prefrontal cortex. It actually develops when you're in your 20s. For boys, it's a little later. So that's why in teens, we kind of make irrational decisions, but I feel like mindfulness can really deep down and make us teens stop and really think and help develop your thought process along the way. And also, our generation, we're always bombarded with distractions, cell phones, everything. It's just distracting. Like, I do my homework with music. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Or I watch TV with my laptop and my phone in my other hand because I got to text my friend and then I got to watch TV, then I got to work on something. So it's not good. But, there's this in our education system, I feel like it might be a little backwards how the teen is sitting in the middle, and then we're being influenced by, we're being told to be respectful, be driven, be creative, and I think it's kind of the opposite way. If you can imagine you as like a frame, and mindfulness is in the middle, so mindfulness is kind of within you. Mindfulness can kind of foster all of these characteristics, so you're not constantly nitpicking on these little things. Oh, you're not respectful here. You're not working hard enough here. Oh, what was this paper you turned in? That wasn't good enough. I think mindfulness can kind of help foster and kind of grow that. So, thank you. I wish all of you guys got a little taste of mindfulness. I know it helped me along the way, and I wish it could help you guys too. Thank you.
Thank you, Brennan. Thank you for that. Our next panelist,
Aloha, everyone. How's everybody doing? Thank you guys for coming out today to this youth summit. I know it's going to be a great day and everybody got something great to share. For me, my topic today is independence and employment. First off, my name is Cedric Gates. I'm born and raised on the Waianae Coast. My employment, I'll start off with employment. My employment ranged from being a paper boy on the corner of a street that I grew up on, to working at Wendy's fast food restaurant, to running for state representative for my district of Waianae at the age of 20. So as you can see, that's a lot of change. And what I learned through those times and those employments was that you continue to learn. Life is all about learning, growing, and experiencing new things. And the other important thing is about building your network and building your relationships with others. Hawaii is all about that. I know for a fact that we depend on relationships a lot out here. And so your friend could be someone who makes it into a good position, and you can tie that into your employment or use it on your resume, and it has a great impact on the connections and the things you're capable of doing, which ties into also independence, because you have to be willing to go that extra mile to make those networks work and to make those connections, and also to depend on yourself, because at the end of the day, that's all you have. And nobody will hand anything to you in life, I can tell you that. You have to go out and get it, and I look forward to speaking more about that in the discussion that we have.
Nice. Thank you, Cedric. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Adrienne Wilson. I'm the current Miss Nu'uanu, and I have a problem. I'm here to talk to you guys about sustainability, but I want to know, a show of hands really quickly, how many of you have too many interests and can't decide between which ones to focus on? Quite a lot of number of you. And I have a problem because it's just way too long. It's actually 3 notebooks big. So I couldn't figure out what was a good way to focus between all of my interests. And that's when I started looking for just any type of opportunity where I could fit one of my interests into. That's how I started accomplishing things and checking things off. So this past year as Miss Nu'uanu, I was able to represent Hawaii at an expedition to Antarctica, celebrating sustainability concepts and working for new renewable energy sources. We got to test an amazing solar-powered battery at the South Pole, and we got to test microplastic pollution sensing software. And I would never have been able to do that without going through my interest list and figuring out ways of how to marry my calling, sustainability, and what I like to do, which is, for some beauty pageants. So I just wanted to talk about, sustainability is something that's all around us and something that we can all contribute to. But there's more than one way to skin the cat. There's more than one way that you can approach being able to contribute to society. Not only was I able to do the Antarctica trip, but I've also been able to design exhibitions for Singapore and New York for the World Water Day festivals. And architecture and design is something I'm very passionate about as well. So it was a great opportunity to be able to market myself and say, hey, this is my portfolio. If you'd like for me to help work on this project as a volunteer, please allow me to do that. And eventually that ended up with an Eco Princess Festival. Who here likes fairy tales? Yeah? Who wants to be a mermaid when they grow up? I do. So So what I did was, when I was finishing my master's program, I decided to design a festival, and it's currently in its 4th year, so hopefully it continues on. A festival that teaches young kids, boys and girls, sustainability concepts through fairy tales. So we have Sleeping Beauty teaching about energy, because I thought that was funny. Snow White teaching about air pollution, because otherwise she can't sing. The Little Mermaid teaching about water pollution, and Cinderella teaching about what goes inside the products that you use in your daily life, for example, cleaning products. In doing this, we had the kids perform different challenges with each of the princesses through an enchanted forest. We fundraised to decorate the entire student union of my college and made it look like a forest. And you had to complete these challenges to get a plant, an herb for kids to grow at the very end, given to you by Pocahontas and Fairy Godmother. So there are tons of different ways that you can connect sustainability with different projects and different interests. I just wanted to throw out some ideas to you guys. If you were ever interested in going for sustainability or any type of other world cause or social cause, it can be cancer awareness, it can be diabetes awareness, it can be AIDS, it can be anything that you are passionate about. There are ways that you can connect to your current interests, and even if you're just exploring, even if you don't know what you want to do yet, it's a great way to figure that out. Thank you.
Wow. Very creative. Thank you so much for sharing all that. Okay, you ready? Cool.
Hi everybody, my name is Bryson Go and I am an 8th grader at Jarrett Middle School. I am currently a volunteer with the Hori Heart Foundation, helping to educate the community on life-saving skills, and have recently completed the Sidding County of Honolulu EMS Junior Paramedic Program.
Aloha, my name is Pohai Ryan, and I am the Executive Director of the Native Hawaiian Hospitality Association. We are a legal registered nonprofit supported by the Hawaii Tourism Authority with a very unique mission. We are the cultural conscience of the tourism industry. We provide cultural education services, workforce development training, and more. To find out more about our services and who we are, visit us at nahha.com. That's naha.com. Mahalo and malama pono.
Programs airing on the Olelo Community Media channels are presented by independent producers in the community's interest. The opinions and views expressed do not necessarily represent the views of Olelo Community Media or its management.
mountain to the ocean, from my windward to the leeward side.
And it is through the waters of life that we are sustained, that we live. And it is the waters of life that we carry in the Ipu of Lono. All right? The Ipu of Lono is all the clouds that come in. And Kane is in the fresh waters of the rains that come from those clouds.
There was a question at the break asking for more of a response to the question that was posed to me. And what is the role of the Office of Sustainability, and what is my response from a system-wide perspective? So a couple thoughts on that. My role is to help you guys articulate what is needed, bring that back to executive management, and take all of the input that we get from today and all of this ongoing work and synthesize it into a coordinated system-wide strategy. Does that make sense? So we're not gonna come to the end of 2 days and have a strategy on how to go forward, okay? But what we are gonna have is a benefit of all of your input to inform that strategy. And that's what I mean by enhancing the sensory capacity of our leadership and improving their capacity to make decisions. So Kevin Chang actually wrote me some notes, some thoughts that I'd like to share out. First of all, he says, now I think I understand what it is that you're trying to do. Kevin and I talk often about network coordination, obviously. And so this is sort of notes from the field from someone that has deep experience rooted in community values and is dealing with, if we think we have challenging contexts to deal with, can you imagine communicating 3 statewide networks of Hawaiian practitioners and trying to figure out from a zero resource base how to continue that work? He suggests that we articulate the need for keeping this going, for keeping these convenings going, for keeping these gatherings going, right? Conference calls and technology are great, and a great way to reduce our impact. And there's also nothing that can beat face-to-face interactions, that richness of human interaction. So let's think about that over these next couple of days. Help me to explain to executive management why this is needed, what the value is, what we want to get out of next year's summit, okay? Our focus for the first year has been to figure out what the business strategy is. How are we going to essentially create mechanisms to fund this into perpetuity, okay? And where we've landed is our focus has been very laser focused on energy efficiency, because the potential returns that are available for energy efficiencies are such that that's a potential economic engine to drive all of this work. Yeah. So strategically, that's where we start. Now we know that there's many other aspects of sustainability to address, but we start where we're at with what we have. So if we can articulate the value of this, then I can work with leadership to support it more broadly, and we can move our shared kuleana into a much broader space. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. So this afternoon, working sessions, campus sustainability planning. You guys will be working with Patrick Thibodeau, who I'll introduce properly in a moment. And this will be an opportunity for you to share out the work that you've done in developing these plans, and to look at them, to put those in a bigger box and think about those and explore and examine those through the lens of macro trends that are affecting and impacting not only our campuses, but our home life and our communities. Then Dr. Arnhem Week, I always put an S there, I don't know why, is from Arizona State University. Early on in this work, Arnhem wrote a paper on sustainability learning competencies that was really influential in some of the curriculum coordination and sustainability curriculum development thinking. So Arnhem brings that to the table. Not only that, he brings sort of national and international perspectives on how to make the transition as an institution, so that we can look at what has worked elsewhere and take the pieces that might work for us, adapt and apply it to our unique context. And so Arnhem will be guiding the curriculum coordination or contributing to that curriculum coordination group. And the idea with that group is to contribute your input to help us create that vision. If on February 12th in Hilo, we started with a napkin sketch, now I'm hoping to get a rough draft out of what that shared vision of if the university knew what it knew, what could it be in terms of teaching and learning, yeah? Then we have the student leadership group, and Jessica Sevilla, our student sustainability fellow, has been working closely with Nicole Chatterson, who has deep experience working with Kupu Rise internship program and other youth programming. And what you guys will be working on is figuring out how a statewide sustainability coalition could impact you at the campus, your community, and us as a coordinated effort. You'll be learning a little bit about the history of the coalition and thinking about what might be possible if you're able to work effectively together and have the resources to support network coordination. So that, again, I can take that input and then try to figure out the strategy of how to get more resources to you. And then last but not least, we have a working session that's focused on strategic energy management. And the general question that we're working to answer there is, what is our strategy to manage our energy more effectively, working across our internal and our external stakeholders, partners, energy performance, develop that funding mechanism so that we have a viable business plan underlying our sustainability strategy, and meet our net zero mandate and the carbon neutral goals set by the Board of Regents, 2035 and 2050 respectively. So, all that being said, the information that we're about to receive from our invited speakers, and I'm sorry, Jessica Marshall, I did it again, man. Jessica Marshall, I've met recently, and her last post was at the superintendent's office at the Department of Education. And it's interesting to compare notes and see the work she's been doing there and the work that we're doing here. And Jessica is in the that pertain directly to the working session that you're focused in, but I guarantee you there's a thread that applies, okay? So first up, we have Dr. Albie Miles. Dr. Albie Miles. I'm on fire. Dr. Arnhem Week from the School of Sustainability at Arizona State University. Please welcome him.
Aloha, everyone. So I guess I start with saying you're not alone. And I mean this by this particular role I play here as a keynote speaker, being not part of the UH system at all, and actually being not very familiar with it, apart from, you know, studying lots and lots of documents and speaking to very lovely folks from various campuses, and having spent the last 5 days in Kauai and learned a little bit more about the Kauai Community College. What I know, though, is that there are many, many sustainability programs and universities and colleges around the country and the world in very similar positions. And everybody is struggling. You know, nobody has really figured it out. I come from a university where a very powerful president has coined this idea of the new American university. Michael Crow is our president, and he has pushed for it now over 10 years. And he usually appears as somebody who has all the answers. I can assure you, we don't have all the answers. We have a lot of experience by now, but again, what I've seen across the country and the world is a lot of pushing for a new generation of sustainability education. So I'm here to give you some perspective from this international pool of resources we should all, I think, tap into. But at the same time, I also want to mirror that most of the things I'm presenting, you have here. You just have it, you know, in dispersed places. And I think one of the key elements of your undertakings, from my perspective, should be to really harvest this and learn from each other as much as we from, you know, kind of the outside and other universities would like to, you know, support you in that learning process. I think the key, one of the key elements I learned in my academic career and a lot of participatory research and community engagement we are doing is don't start with strategies. I appreciate very much the question about how do we do that now. But first you need to somewhat create the vision where you want to go. And so Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who wrote The Little Prince, has this really strong saying, and I think it applies especially to, islands and Hawaii. I think this idea of you need to create the vision first before you build a ship, and I think so. I mean this very seriously, not just daydreaming about what Hawaii and the islands could be, but seriously visioning. And so what I think is very important, even before we start thinking about particular programs or study abroad or the worldwide voyage or concentrations in sustainability and all the wonderful things we want to discuss more, in particular in the curriculum development stream this afternoon, is to really reinvent and reimagining what Hawaii, the islands individually and collectively could be. We need to reconsider what mobility actually means. And I think this is not, particular to this place. I think it's very relevant for everywhere in the world. We're obsessed with bringing people from A to B. We give very little thought, why are people so desperate about getting from A to B? In very small scale environments, when it's just about the daily commuting. But also, obviously in large scale, thinking about the tourism industry of Hawaii, right? Rethinking what actually mobility means and learning from innovative solutions when it comes to mobility is, I think, one of the challenges. Housing sector, right? How we can use actually local materials. The tiny house movement, I think, is a great way to think about stuff and how much space we actually need and what we think we are without our our wealth and the things we possess, instead of asking the question, who are we without that, and who are we collectively too, right? So space in a very rich sense to reimagine. I love the idea of embracing a place, in particular its climate. Coming from Arizona, we are just, again, obsessed with artificially creating an environment we think is more healthy and conducive to what we are doing. So everything is basically running on air condition, which is a highly artificial environment. It doesn't embrace the place. It's not really healthy. It's very energy intense. It really, with a car-driven community at the same time, we don't really have connections to people. So we need to reconsider all of this. And again, I'm just, telling you some of the stories from observations I'm making here, but I really refer to a lot of other places I've been to, not really embracing the space and the location we're living in. The really interesting thing is with all of these pictures is that they are from here. So there's a famous saying in future studies that the future is already here. It's just unequally distributed. And so I wanted to coin this, somewhat differently and say the vision is already here. You see all these pockets of changes already all over the islands. What we haven't done yet is really adopting, embracing, appreciating, scaling, transferring that. And what we heard from our panel before, it's amazing work. The vision of creating actually a healthy, intensive organic food system for the islands that would reverse the trend from 90% of imported food to 90% of food produced here is an amazing idea, but it also has already good grounds in reality. There are pilot projects, there are farms already out there. It's our task to think about how can we learn, transform, transfer, and scale. Now, a key part of this is how we teach, and education needs to be at the core of that vision. And again, I think we need to think about education in very different ways. And again, I'm very pleased to follow the first panel where a lot of community-based, participatory, engaged, action teaching was alluded to. So these are kind of examples from around the world. Again, you're not alone. You're not on this journey as the only people trying to do education in a more meaningful way. A lot of people are trying to do this, and I think if we really merge all of this knowledge and experience, we can learn this together. Now let me talk about constructing a vision for sustainability education in 3 different streams. I want to briefly talk about principles. I then want to put it on the ground and say, so what are the tangible ideas on the ground? How does, a great vision in terms of principles translate into something that is happening in or outside the classroom, but in the everyday reality of faculty, students, and staff? And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about institutional structures, what we learned along the way of how we can make some of this change happen. So the guiding principles, and I'm just picking some of them, and this afternoon we have more time to delve more into the question of what are some of the guiding principles, and we have now, the University of Hawaii system has executive yesterday a discussion about values in indigenous communities and how do we harvest them and what does it actually mean and what community do we embrace. That has a lot to do with literacy in different value systems. Our students should be capable of navigating these different value and preference systems. And at the end of the day, it's about doing things. So the strategic, action-oriented knowledge. How do you actually make change happen? How do you overcome barriers? This is not trivial. It's actually something that can be taught, and not just saying, okay, we need a new policy or a new...
Want to, like Sarah said, interface with the world or be part of the world or your everyday activities.
So these were kind of the 4 core competencies, and then we thought there's obviously a lot of interpersonal competence, professional competence, communication, stakeholder engagement, teamwork, and so forth that is critical too. All of this was inspired by the idea of creating change agents and problem solvers of the next generation. So this could be one of the guiding principles, to say, okay, we are not creating boundaries through content. We are open to say whatever program we're designing would be, kind of supported by the idea of these competencies, so that we have a dialogue, a constructive dialogue across all the different programs and sustainability endeavors. The second key principle, I think, could be quite inspirational, and again, this is nothing that is unique, it's actually widely shared, is this idea of real-world solutions learning. We have still done a lot of work that is focusing on problems, analyzing problems. A lot of our students are actually leaving sustainability programs across the country and the world being frustrated. And they don't want to do anything in sustainability because they were only trained in understanding and analyzing problems, instead of really learning about solutions and thinking through what this actually means, not only understanding them, but they have 3 different modes there. This understanding, experiencing, and experimenting. And again, I think that resonated with the previous panel. It's not just in the classroom. You need to experience solutions, and then you need to get some room to experiment with them. So this could be another principle that could guide some of the programs and efforts we are doing. And the final one is this idea of cross-cultural sustainability education on a more kind of local, regional level, like here across the islands, but then also internationally. And I think this is primarily the idea also to really adopt the unique features of what sustainability means in this context here. So that is fairly abstract, but it can guide a lot of different efforts, irrespective in which program or on which campus you are. So let me translate some of this into tangible ideas, what this actually could mean on the individual program or course level. And there are tons of different ideas we have been discussing over the last several weeks about minors and certificate programs and faculty trainings and so on and so on. And if you're interested in learning more about this afternoon and tomorrow, we have more time to go into this. I just want to highlight two elements. One is this UH-wide sustainability minor. You have now a long list of S-designated courses, so your S designation has already made a lot of progress in this direction. Now it's really pulling it together and creating this kind of almost university system-wide minor that would allow, again, maybe very different constellations and compositions of course